Good morning. My name is Mark Shelford, and I'm standing to be the Police and Crime Commissioner of Avon and Somerset. And today we're visiting the constituency of Somerton and Frome and speaking to the MP, David Warburton. David, good morning.
Good morning. Hello. Hi, Mark. Good to see
you. It's good to see you. David, for those that don't know, could you just describe your constituency in a few words?
Yeah, it's quite an. I think it's an unusual constituency because it's a large area, 900 square miles, and it stretches from the outskirts of Bath, just south of Bath, all the way across to the outskirts of Taunton, and all the way down past Wincanton as well to the south. And that means that there's a huge variety of different issues that I think are faced by people who live in my patch. So the people just outside Bath very much look towards Bath for their inspiration, and they travel into Bath, and they're suburban Bath people. But those at the other end are really, it's a terribly rural area, and to them, Bath, I think it has entirely different priorities, and they have nothing to do with that sort of area. So, but overall, it's a rural constituency. It's almost all small villages, small towns. And rural life, an awful lot of agriculture. Although, of course, I have Frome as well, which is a growing and very exciting, and very independent-minded town, and is I think one of the biggest towns in Somerset. And Wincanton also is a large town, but has its own problems, and I don't think has yet found its true identity. And I think we need to work hard on Wincanton. But then there are other areas, Bruton, Somerton, which are flourishing spectacularly and changing minute by minute. But I think overall, it's a rural constituency and with rural concerns.
Thank you. And what are the sort of crime issues that are faced by your constituents?
Well, I think there are two main things. Firstly, as I say, it being a rural constituency with so much agriculture at the heart of it, and by agriculture I mean everything from farming, dairy farming, and so on, to cider growers as well. There's an awful lot of orchards in my patch, and also vineyards. But because of that, rural crime is a big deal, and I think that people do worry. I get an awful lot of communication from farmers, from landowners, who are worried about rural crime and worried about the police's response to it, and feel that perhaps they're not getting the messages across that they'd like to. And so, that means theft of farm machinery and fly grazing and a huge variety of issues which are particular to rural areas. But I think there's a feeling that perhaps the police don't have the resources or don't have the powers to intervene in these areas. So they often feel the need to take the law into their own hands or to manage the situation amongst themselves, which isn't necessarily for the best. So I think that's one thing. And then following on from that, there's also I do get an awful lot of correspondence from constituents who are worried about burglary and so on, and the lack of police support, or police not necessarily being able to be there as quickly as possible, or seeming to not give issues as much credence or as much seriousness as perhaps they ought, and visibility as well. I think with reduction in police numbers over the past few years, it's been hard for people to feel that they're connected to their local to the local police. And so I think those are the three big ones.
Thank you. And of course, it's shared by a lot of people and a lot of constituencies within Avon and Somerset, particularly the rural element, which chimes wherever you are in those areas. So, David, what would you like to see the police doing to improve their service to your constituents?
Well, I do think, in one word, visibility. I think being part of the part of the community as much as possible, being as close as possible to the people on the ground, so that the police aren't seen as some disparate or disconnected force or some invisible hand, but rather are part of what's going on. And of course, there are great examples of that go on. And I know many local police personally, and I know many who do a fantastic job. But I think that a lot of people feel that they're not necessarily part of their own town, their own village, their own community, and they don't, because they want to see them in action. They want to see them just on the streets, which I think is something across the whole country that people worry about. They want to feel that they have their support and that they have their backs wherever they are. So it's about being part of the community, being visible, being local, and being available when necessary.
David, thank you for that. And it's very clear that rural communities do feel isolated and desperately do need to have visible policing, yeah, and better coordination of policing activities. And one of the things I'm very keen to support is that PCSOs go back to attending parish council meetings fairly regularly, so that the people know who to go to if they've got problems. I am absolutely all about local solutions to local problems and making the community more resilient. And if I am elected in May of next year, together we can make Somerton and Frome a much safer place. So thank you for today, and I look forward to working with you closely over the coming months.
My pleasure. Thank you. See you soon, Mark.